motherfuckers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
For the big breaking news, let's go right to John Solomon, founder of Just the News. John, what do you got?
Well, we have a mom in Ohio to thank for helping us thwart what could have been a deadly and horrific terror attack on Sunday night at the UFC 250 fight, which was the official kickoff of our 250th Celebration America, the MMA fight on the South Lawn of the White House. 4 days before that, the FBI learned that there were a group of men trying to carry out a terror attack. It was a two-tiered terror attack. Phase one, they would send explosive-laden drones into the South Lawn and get people to panic with the explosions, injure people there. Those who fled, they hope would flee into the path of snipers who would be positioned around the city and begin gunning down spectators as they were fleeing the White House. A mom in Ohio suspected her son was up to no good, reached out to the local law enforcement, who reached out to the FBI. And that plot, which may involve as many as 23 people around this country, was thwarted in time to allow the UFC event to go on unfazed. But a very harrowing close call.
You know, John, before you go forward, what do you know about the ideology or the motivation?
Very important, talking to a lot of FBI folks about this. So these appear to be sort of semi-conservative, semi-libertarian sort of young people who have a distrust of government, have a little bit of belief in faith, who appear to have been co-opted, maybe by foreign powers, maybe by domestic powers, into sort of a leftist ideology.
Are they from any particular background that we should suspect?
No, there is no foreign involvement yet. But as we know, a lot of times Americans are radicalized and they don't even know they're talking to a Chinese infiltrator or an Iran infiltrator or a Russian or a Cuban. And so the level of sophistication that our enemies have in radicalizing our young people, ISIS, as we've seen many times, but there is some concern that this group had sort of libertarian leanings with some anti-Semitism sprinkled in, and at some point become radicalized, more like the leftist Antifa, and they start to activate toward this plan. Not clear they had all the capabilities to do it, but very clear they were moving towards execution.
They're like a hybrid hate,
Exactly. Hate Inc. That's what we're in the middle of. There's a whole industry creating hate in this world.
You know, what's so scary, and we were talking about this earlier, John, is that there was this planning. I mean, thank goodness the mother in Ohio, and then they got on the Signal chat, and then they were able to figure out some of these other people. But this was pretty well organized. They had like plans when they were going to come into town, and they were, I think, going to stay in Fredericksburg, Maryland, which is right outside of D.C.
Yeah, I think it might have been Fredericksburg, Virginia, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it might have been. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
One of the exurbs of D.C. It was this was a plot in motion. Whether they had all of the capabilities, we don't know. But when someone gets that far into activation, one, we're grateful for the mom who had the courage to turn in her own son. And then the FBI and local law enforcement worked hand in glove so quickly to unravel this. We've got 5 people in custody. There are 18 more they're trying to track down. These conversations occurred on Signal. They went and got warrants, so they protected people's privacy, did it the right way, and they were able to thwart this attack as best we can tell. And we're going to learn a lot more. The next few days, we expect more arrests and more information to come out, but pretty remarkable just how close we came to another terror attack in America. I think a lot of people grateful to hear that the system worked the way it was supposed to. Meanwhile, we're starting to learn a lot more about why the FBI and the Justice Department began looking at Governor Newsom and his wife and some of their inside political circle. Tomorrow, we'll have a revelation about how much money Gavin Newsom directed from special interests to his favorite pet projects. It's going to be more than $300 million in special interest. California has this unique ability where a politician can literally solicit someone who's got business before government, say, don't give it to me, give it to my favorite pet project, like my wife's charity or my favorite friend's nonprofit. And so Gavin Newsom was the king of this system, more than $300 million. Tomorrow, we're going to lay out where that money went, how much of it benefited his wife, and who were the payees, who was dropping the money. A lot of people who had business before the Gavin Newsom administration, they were getting the shake from the governor as their business was coming out in the state. We're going to lay all that out tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. Gavin Newsom is trying to portray himself as a victim. Read tomorrow's story. Tell me what you think.
Great.
Wow.
And you know,
Yeah,
if he's
that's a
doing it,
wow.
other people are doing it too. That's the thing.
Oh, of course.
That's why this is really
The
important to
amount
break.
of fraud.
You need to
George,
break this.
You were in the FBI for 26 years, 25 years, whatever it was. The amount of fraud going on the last 10 years. And you retired over 10 years ago.
Yeah, John's right. I mean, this is such an important case to show that we can't tolerate this type of fraud. It's killing our country.
Yeah, it is absolutely doing that, and there's a lot of concern about where we go from here. How do we start to unravel this? How do we get back to a culture that when you're in a government position, you serve the people and not you serve your own pecuniary interests? How do we get young people to stop hating America and the people next to them?
You know how you do it, John? I have
John,
the answer. Remember the old FBI movies? Somebody has to go to jail.
Yeah.
Nobody in the Democratic Party has gone to jail yet.
Yeah. Hold them accountable.
Ultimate panacea.
Yeah.
Without
no
a
The
doubt.
only way they stop.
I know. Why is that? Why? Let me just ask a basic question. Why is that they haven't? I mean, some stuff looks pretty clear.
Yeah.
George and John.
It's sad. It's ridiculous.
Hey, John, anything on the horizon? And I'm just going to ask you as a follow-up. Speaking of which, I remember about a week ago we were talking about some of the investigations that are going on, even tied to Victoria Tunzing and Joe. Right? Is there anything tied? Is there anything happening with those?
So I picked up a side job. Not that I was looking to have another job in life. I'm pretty satisfied just being a journalist. But for the next few weeks, I'm working to declassify with a group of great people, get some more information out to the American public. And I think some of this information will fill in the gaps that have kept prosecutors from feeling confident in bringing charges. The deep state and the bureaucracy is very good at hiding the really good stuff that you might build an indictment on or a termination if you're, taking administrative action. I think we're going to be able to get the American people some secrets that they weren't planned on getting. They may not even be ready for some of the revelations. I have to acknowledge that some stuff I've been working on the last few weeks deeply troubles me just how far the system has gone askew.
I understand the president trusts you, and I understand the president has given you a few assignments.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think the end of next week and the beginning of the following, we'll start to show people what truths they've been denied, and I think it might fill in the blanks for some of the prosecution cases that have been missing some of the evidence. They may soon have it, but I'm looking forward to that. And meanwhile, let's keep it on Gavin Newsom tomorrow. I think people are going to enjoy this story.
Craig Eaton, real quick.
John, just talking about the fraud, the U.S. Department of Justice just noticed that they filed a lawsuit against Hochul's administration, claiming it rigged bids on an $11 billion Medicaid home care program, allowing a hand-picked company to siphon off millions of taxpayer
And
money.
how much was the contribution to the Democratic Party?
And they indicted, they were investigating the state health commissioner and the Medicaid director. They're both named in the lawsuit.
Somebody has to go to jail.
Wow.
So,
Bottom line, guys, somebody has to go to
but
jail.
the fraud is rampant. You had Minnesota. Look what happened there. You got New York. You got around the country.
Right.
Shameful.
I talked to a fraud investigator who thinks that the tally when the Trump administration is done will be more than $1 trillion of fraud in the last 5 years.
Out of a $2 trillion deficit.
Yeah.
John Solomon, we'll talk to you soon, but the president loves you. Keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Thank you. Love your show, guys.
Thank you, John.